I grew up in Cornwall, Ontario, back in the 60s. My parents were born there and all my family lives there. I have a younger sister. I lived there all my life until I went away to university around the time that I was 20. I went to Cornwall Collegiate and Vocational School, CCVS. At the time, that was a big school, 1,200 kids. That was back in the 1980s. I graduated in 1984. To give you a comparison, Athens, our school, including 7s and 8s, has 300 kids. So big school, very different. Normally read history books. I love to cook. Whenever there's a family gathering, like at Christmas or Easter or that sort of thing, I do all the cooking because I love it so much. I also do some kayaking. I'm a runner. I just run for my own health. And I paint and draw. I actually went to university for that. And even though I don't make my living at it, I try and do it as often as I can. What is my contribution to my country? So here it is. I've done 3 things in my life that I think you could say were contributing to my country. The first thing is, when I was younger, I was involved in the Canadian military. As soon as I could be, because my family, there are a lot of men in the family, and they were all involved in the military, and I couldn't wait. So as soon as I was old enough, I joined up. But that was a long time ago, and since then there's been a war, and I didn't go to war. I was in the army during peacetime, so I don't talk about that too much. After I graduated from university, though, I got a job with the Canadian government, and I made maps in the Arctic, and specifically maps of areas where there was contamination in the soil. So I went around to abandoned dew line sites. For about 6 years I worked on that project, really isolated places in the high Arctic with a team of scientists, and we mapped out where there were poisonous chemicals in the soil so that that soil could be taken out and the land would be pure, like before people had gone in there. So I think that that's fairly important. But I think the biggest thing by far is that I've worked in schools for about 15 years. And one of the things about that, I think, is that in as much as I've been a teacher and a vice principal, but I really see it as helping kids. And in helping kids, I'm helping people who are going to grow up to be healthy, well-adjusted adults and valuable members of the society. And I think that locally, although I'm not doing that right across the country, but I think locally that's been a big help to people who are ultimately going to live their lives all across the country and be contributing members to society.
Okay.
The way that I got to where I am now is I went to university and I did a fine art degree. So I specialized in painting, and specifically painting portraits of people. And I thought that I was going to make my living as a painter, but over the time that I did my university, I had the chance to do a little bit of teaching. In fact, I did my master's degree in painting, and part of my master's degree was that I had to teach a class, and I found that I really enjoyed that. So after I finished my master's degree, I did 1 more year of university. I was out west at the University of Victoria, and I came back to Queens, and I did a special program called Artist in the Community Education. And really enjoyed that, really enjoyed working in high schools, got hired, worked at Gananoque Secondary School, taught here, taught in Brockville, and then after about 13 years of teaching, I wanted to have more of an impact on the Upper Canada District School Board than I could just as a teacher in the classroom, even though I enjoyed that a lot. So I took the classes and I became a vice principal. There have been a lot of people in my life that have made an impact on me, but I think the person that really changed the way I look at things was my university professor at the University of Victoria, a man named Don Harvey, who spent a lot of time with me talking to me about not just about things like painting and drawing, but he also talked to me a lot about life and how it was important to do the things that you wanted, that made you feel good, that how can I say this, that also helped other people. And I think a lot of the reason why I'm here now is because of the conversations that we had.